figure out what's going on in this picture. Well, I have 3 and 12. I guess it just sits on top and doesn't really screw in.
This screws to it, doesn't it? Yeah, it fastens in. Well, you got 12 there. That's going to go on top of it.
Well, I see that 6 like fastens in, but
So you got screw holes on the end of this one. This one is 6.
This is 3.
That's
this is
3.
6. That's 12.
Well, it has screw holes on the end of it too. So it's going to go. That's going to go into the base of 6.
So
right there. Those holes right there.
2 line up on 12.
Yep.
And then, okay, I was trying to figure out how 12 holds in because I was like,
There are lots of options. You probably want to have the number down. So you have your.
Well, the number peels off. Yeah.
And it seems equidistant from the edges. So they have a screw in there from the side.
Yep.
Not the best instructions, but better than you get with a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, it is the beginning of the weekend. We have made great progress. We've got hot water, which has been one of the biggest, for me, one of the biggest fears of the whole thing is not being able to get that online. It's been a little bit intimidating. I've never done that before. I've never worked with a boiler. I've never set up a gas appliance. I'm trying to think about this. I've certainly never set up a gas hot water heater before. Getting past that point is a real big deal. We have a small punch list. Maybe it's a medium-sized punch list of things that we have to knock out this weekend and at the beginning of next week. Then we will be able to call in for our inspection for certificate of occupancy. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm ready to move in. It is time to get a door in this doorway. And I'm gonna own it. This doorway is not plumb. It just is not. This is pretty plumb. This doorway, not plumb. It is off. So I'm gonna have to put a piece of OSB right here. Probably put a piece of OSB down there on that side in the corner. And then I'm gonna use shims to get this thing straightened out so it looks right. What's wrong?
Smarter than the door.
You only gotta be 2% smarter than the door. That's it. 2%. That's all it takes.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, step on out.
Babe, there's not much space under the door.
Hold tight.
Yes. A flathead or a Phillips? Okay.
Alright, let's see what this looks like. Well, it came out alright.
It did. Now the bunnies can't chew my cords and stuff because I'll just bundle this one up really tight and then plug it into there up off the ground.
By the way, everybody says your room is the size of a closet. That's what I kept getting when people saw your room.
It's big enough. I mean, it's bigger than the room I'm in now.
Yeah,
so
it's 12 by 14. It's not exactly a closet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they got. I think it's because the ceilings are so high.
Plus, I have an office space next door, so I don't really need much room in here.
Just got a call. The oven is on the way. This is delivery number 5 that has been scheduled. We'll see how this works out. The stove is on the way, so I'd better hurry up. We've had quite a bit of trouble getting things delivered in good condition out here. After having to refuse the stove twice, and knowing that this one was in a truck that broke down on the side of the interstate and was offloaded to another truck for redelivery, I was already planning to be extra cautious in my inspection. I could tell that the delivery driver was in a hurry and wanted to get the stove into the house. My advice to anyone taking delivery of an appliance or other large goods is to inspect it as much as possible before it comes off their truck, and then to inspect it thoroughly before you sign for anything. You won't make friends with the delivery driver by doing this. They're probably on a tight timetable. But if you let them leave damaged goods with you, there's a pretty good chance that it's always going to be that way. There's no more central piece of equipment to a kitchen than the place where you do your cooking. This is the range that Jafana will use to make our dinners, and this is where I will teach my grandkids to make pancakes and French toast the way that my father made them for me. So I inspected the range again, checking the function of the doors and the drawers and the knobs before I was willing to sign and complete the transaction. What do you think?
It's very pretty.
So, 5th time's a charm.
You are staring your ass to the world, Mom.
That's staying in the video.
It's not.
That comment did it. I'll put a little flower on your back.
No.
Looks like it won't fit, doesn't it?
No, that isn't good. I think I'm better at spatial relations than you are.
Must be.
I am. I am. This whole bill.
Yeah, oh yes. Yes. Yeah.
It doesn't look good with a granite. But it's quivering. Excitement. So excited. Dad, just a second. I'm gonna make some orders.
Well, I didn't have the camera on, but we do have a bathroom door that works and locks. It gives people privacy. I'm gonna go out, I gotta cut this. I'm gonna go out here and convert the range to LP. Woohoo! It means we'll have a range and a way to cook, which is a requirement for moving in, as is a door. I do have to put trim around it so that it provides privacy for people to use the loo. But aside from that, we have a door.
Woohoo!
Thank you, darling.
Put it on.
Moving on.
Check that one off.
Don't think that was even on the list.
Oh, it's better though. Oh my gosh. When it hits you just right, like with the reflection,
Oh, yeah.
it's blinding. Here, I'm gonna blow it off really fast and then. Do you want to switch the pad? How's your pad look?
Yeah, switch it.
Okay, just so
Yeah, 'cause
less. Yeah,
it's doing this.
I mean, they're not, the pads are not expensive.
There's been so much going on that we've been a little overwhelmed. I'm nearing the end of a vacation. I took a week off from work to give a real big push and try to get things tightened up. It was time well spent, but it wasn't enough. Lauren and Jafana have been coming after work and school each day, and Lauren's been painting doors and trim to help me get things prepared. Now that all the doors are painted and waiting for me to install them,
You wanna shake it
she's
out?
got the decorating bug, and she's
Yeah.
been refinishing a few pieces of furniture to match her own decorating tastes.
Seasoning the dirt.
this stove to work out here, since we are on propane, it has to be converted. It shows up ready to be used for natural gas. Here's a fun fact with this particular stove. Natural gas doesn't burn as hot as propane does, but the orifices that they stick on here, these are called orifices, the ones that are here that come with it are natural gas. You can see they're larger than these ones are because you can't let as much gas out. Because if you let propane through that, you'd have a flame that big. I mean, it would be a monster, unmanageable, dangerous, burn your house down. They reduce the size of it and you actually end up with less BTUs on this range using LP than you do with natural gas. So in case you're shopping for the things, I don't know where in their specs you find that, but had I known that, I would have compared. I thought this was going to be 22,000 BTU in this burner. We're going to get 17,500. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just something that you don't know ahead of time. We were looking forward to having a high heat from it so that we could use it to cook with a wok. Well, you're going to have to make some adjustments. That said, I'm going to go ahead and get this converted over. The first thing that I'm supposed to do is come around here to the back and using my fingers, I'm supposed to be able to unthread this, they call it a spud, that little piece right there. Well, it's in there pretty tight. There's a cap on it. I grab it, it does not want to turn just by my fingers. So I'm gonna see if I'm able to get it. Oh, that's a little bigger than that wrench I've got. There. Barely had to turn it to get it loose, but it wasn't going to happen with just my fingers. Once you take that thing off, that is what it looks like. That is the LP side. That is the natural gas side. This piece, the cap comes off. That piece is supposed to go in. So you pull this cap off, and I guess you use this little cap holder, flip it around, put it on here like this. If I can get the darn thing in there. I think they had it tightened in so much that it cut it, but this cap goes back on here. You're supposed to put this in here finger tight, and that's it. So that is what I'm gonna do. There we go. Snap that back on. On the side of the regulator, there's a little lever right here. You want to make sure that's in the open position. If this piece was pointing this direction, I'm not sure if you can see that lever there, but if it was pointing that way, it would be in the closed position. You want to make sure it's open. These are the orifices that have to go in here. There's a little pattern to them. It matches the pattern of the stove. These ones go inside. This is for the baking, that is for the broiler. Down at the bottom. Start off by removing these orifices. You're going to need a 7mm socket. Get that loose. Work it out of there. These are aluminum alloy cups, and these are brass fittings that are going in there, so take your time. Make sure you don't cross thread it because it would be very easy to damage it. The details of this switch out and installation are included in the manual. Gas is explosive and dangerous, so if you don't know what you're doing with this, contact a professional. I'm not offering you instruction, I'm just telling you how I'm doing it. You want to snug it down, but you don't want to go crazy. Here's an odd thing For the ones you're putting on here, the left front is red, but there's a spot of red paint right over here where they marked that one. The process is pretty much the same on all of them. The biggest concern is to make sure that you don't cross thread them, because the brass is going to be harder than that aluminum alloy and you could easily damage it. Probably going to leave a little scratch or two on here, but over time and use, I'm sure this thing will get scrubbed down plenty and end up with some scratches on it. I'm going to do this rear one. Manipulate my tool down here. I can't find my needle nose pliers, but I'm going to use the little pliers grippy portion of these wire snippers just to pick that up and get it out of there. And I'm going to see if I can use this to set this one down in there. It's there. Let's see if I can slowly screw it on. It's going very slowly. There we are. 3 different types of orifices that go on here. But you've got a dollop of yellow paint, they call it lemon, on that one, and then a little bit of white paint on the others. For this one, you got to do 2 things. First off, you got to put that little one that's got the dollop of lemon right there in the middle, in the center. Just take that one right there. We can get that started. Tighten that down a bit, not too much. Remove this screw. It's noted right here, it says injectors inside. Well, this is going to be fun. How do I do this without dropping this down inside there? That's tightening it, okay. That's loosening it. The way these injector ports are designed makes it very difficult to get yourself down to it and get it out of there. Yeah, these big meat hooks don't do very well with this. Try this one now. Up until this point, I've been pretty lucky. Ah, I dropped it. You got one? It's brass. It's not going to work. You have a potty mouth.
Okay.
I need a flashlight.
Okay.
You sticking your head where I can't see isn't going to make you see either.
Can you lift that up? Does it not lift up?
No. No. It doesn't come up. I just made this more exciting than I wanted it to be. First I'm gonna put these other orifices back in this cardboard to keep for later. I don't know why I would keep them, because it's not like we're gonna get natural gas out here, even though we have a natural gas pipeline that runs across property. I'm gonna try the least intrusive manner of doing this first. I'm gonna see if I can just stick this in here and somehow find the thing and just pull it into my line of sight. Honey, your fingers ain't gonna reach in here. Yeah, it's back here.
How'd you do that? How do you do
It dropped.
It dropped.
Do these things.
It's because you make me do stuff.
Like all great men in a crisis, I tried to blame my wife. She didn't go for it. I'm sure that the regular installers for these things have special tools that allow them to place the orifice down there and maybe even turn it. The only tool I've got is persistence.
Ta-da! Got that one. Yes, that one. I am not really sure what the proper way is to get this in there and get it started. The only thing I can think of is to get it in there, turn it, grab it with the wrench, and basically keep pressing and turning my finger until I can engage the threads. Eventually, this should work. I think I actually got it. I'm gonna try to do the same thing here. Supposed to pull these forward. These are little locks that lock the door in. Pretty much the same design that you've had on oven doors for 30 or 40 years. Door pops right off. So in the back of the oven, you have two screws. They're Phillips head. Whoever installed them started to strip them. Remove those. You have two screws here, and here that you've got to take out to remove this plate. Remove this screw right here. This screw comes out right here. You could remove this. There is another screw right here. You could remove or loosen that if you need to. Looks like I'm probably going to have to. And the screw I'm talking about fixes, well, I'll just drop that under the stove, fixes this whole thing to the frame of the stove. You want to pull this to the side a little bit. You have to be careful. There are wires right here that are tied into this ignition coil. You just want to move it to the side so you can access this orifice right here. This is the bake oven burner. It's on there pretty snug. And put this back. This piece is actually called the bake spreader because it spreads the heat out. This pan back in here, it's got two little tabs in the front, right here and here, that go right there. Lower that down. Now we have one more that has to be done. That is the one that's right in here for the broiler. Remember, it's fastened right there, and right there. And those two, I think, are enough. All right, so it says to remove this bracket as well, otherwise I won't be able to move that. I don't really want to. How about that? There's 4 screws I gotta take out. I guess it's this one and this one. Man, I don't know now.
because it looks like I could take this screw and just slide this shroud forward and the whole thing would come forward and that'd be all right. Let's go on a journey of discovery here and find out if I'm right or wrong. All right, we know we got to take this one out. That's without question, because the apparatus isn't going to move without that. And we got to take this one out here because it's fastened to the back of the oven, and nothing's going to happen if I don't. So we'll take that one out. Alright, I don't know why it said to take that one out, but I'm going to take that one out too. Maybe that's going to loosen that up for me. That didn't do anything. Take that orifice off. I don't know if my wrench will reach or not. It does, good. That was fun. Alright, why did I have to take this off? I guess because that needed to move. That is stupid. Yeah, that's stupid. So you slide this back on. If you can get it on, put that in, put the shroud on, stand on one foot. Now, the instructions did say to take out these screws. I took out this one and slid this forward, worked just fine. It's all back in there. Everything appears to be as it should be. And once I put this back together, put the door back on, this is actually ready for installation. Of course, I probably want to fasten this all the way up.
You reinstall the front door to the oven simply by sliding it in, pulling it all the way down, and then fastening the latches. Be patient with yourself.
Back. Now you're back in business. Good God. Well, everything's converted over for LP. I'm trying to get it hooked up right now so we can actually test it. Over here on the outlet that I've got with my shutoff valve, I've got this interesting brass fitting. This is Brass Craft is the brand of this line we're using. If for some reason this was cut and the flow was too high coming out of here, this would automatically shut off. That's the theory. It's supposed to be a safety measure, so it is on there. It is on there pretty tight, and then this is a flare fitting that goes onto that, and I have hunkered down on that as tight as I can. The instructions say do not use Teflon tape for fear of breaking this fitting right there, so I am doing what they say. I'm using pipe sealant instead. Get that all screwed in. So I'm going to use these pliers at first just to get it on there as much as I can. Feels like I'm going to have to grab hold of that with another wrench in a second. So, yeah. About as tight as I dare go without having something to back this up. Now want to go too tight. I'm afraid I'll break it. But if I don't go tight enough, it's not going to seal. This is a flare fitting. On the inside of this pipe is basically a stainless steel flare. I think you can see on the inside. The way this seals is not threads, it's the metal face here against the metal face of this, so you don't put anything around here. There's no point. Got my top test detector on here. It's going through its preliminary self-testing mode, zeroing out. All right, now it is not detecting anything either. And my nose is not detecting anything because it is propane. No issues, no bubbles. And this does not smell any gas. Doesn't smell any gas over on the other side. I don't know which of these is which. I guess this one.
Oh, you.
Yeah, there you go. Got a little scratch on the front. It'll be alright. Just gives it that lived-in look.
There's a dent like right there. It's okay.
That's not from me.
That's okay.
It's not from me,
Fine.
sister.
It's gonna get more.
You had the opportunity to fully inspect it upon
That's
delivery.
Great. It looks great.
This one's chunky. And I don't know.
Where the hole is?
Well, I don't know where it goes. Oh, okay. There's a pattern right here that matches up to those two. I don't know what the little. I don't know what that is. What that's trying to tell me. All right.
Got a little wiggle.
Well, oh, we haven't plugged it in yet. Anything come on?
I don't see anything.
Let me go see if the power's on. It's a circuit dedicated just to the stove.
Oh, got you. Oh, that did it.
Are you going through all your little power-up self-test things?
Turn dial to view modes, then push to select.
To what? Hold on a second. Turn dial to change temp.
And then push to confirm. Press that for more features like timer and favorites. What am I pressing? I don't need a SmartThings app. That's just asking for trouble.
Let's start off with
No.
a test of the...
Okay. Do you push?
You don't push anything, you just turn it on. I mean, I've got them right side up, right? This is correct. It wouldn't go to any other. It would go on this one. That seems appropriate.
At the beginning of this video, I mentioned the 2% factor. You have to be 2% smarter than the piece of equipment that you're working with in order to be successful. We couldn't figure out how to get the range to come on. We couldn't get a flame to light up on the stove. We even tried using a torch to get it lit, but that didn't work either. It seemed like too much gas was coming out of it. We even tried to adjust the amount of gas that comes out, and eventually, Jafana realized that we weren't done assembling the stove.
Don't they have lids to these, babe? The top cap things that go on top of these.
Is there more pieces?
There might be more pieces. There's that.
I wish you had told me.
Well, babe, I'm just like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the
That's
fuck?
probably part of the problem.
I'm like, that doesn't look right. Right here. Oh my god.
So I probably got it unadjusted or whatever. Yeah. What did I say before?
What? Wait.
There's an easy way to do things and there's a hard way. Follow me if you would like to find out what the hard way is.
Oh my gosh. How often do you do stupid shit like
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every time.
And you don't learn from it?
Well, I learned that thing, but this is a new thing. I know this now. I'm sure there were people at home yelling at their phone or their computer, "You idiot! You need to put the flat thing on there." Your wife let you down.
What? How did I let you down?
You knew that we had flat things because
No,
you're the
I
one who
didn't.
unpacked everything.
I didn't finish unpacking.
We have an extra flat thing.
No, it goes right here in the middle.
All right, I haven't made any adjustments on that one. Let's give that thing a try and see if something happens here. Well, there you go. That's high, and it works.
Oh my god.
That's medium. That's low. You need a little flat thing on top.
You know what? It's a good thing I'm here.
Oh, I was just thinking the same thing. Because if you weren't here, I'd have been the one who unpacked this, and I would know where the pieces were.
Oh my god, I didn't finish unpacking.
Oh. Where was this?
I don't know.
Where was that?
Where was it?
Mmm.
Where was
Mmm.
it? Smells like new baking oven.
Well, the kitchen is coming together. And I figured since that went well enough, I would come into the bathroom and see if I could get another toilet installed. But we do have a toilet installed. So this is a complete bathroom. We have lights, fan, shower, sink, all the plumbing works, mirrors up. Everything in here is exactly what it needs to be. Just to make sure that I don't start feeling too good about myself, Jafani yelled out that we still need trim.
That's great then.
Gotta go home, get some sleep. Tomorrow, we're gonna come back and do it again. We'll see you guys then.
Oh, it closes really easy. It's very smooth, babe.
Where was this?
I don't know.
Where was that?
Where?